Thank you for coming back for part two of this excellent drawing that we're doing of George Seurat. So this is his reference image, and we managed to draw this so far in part one. So you can see I managed to capture all the colors using this color picker. Wonderful color picker, the most powerful thing since sliced bread, I would say. So this is like a color pot, paint pot that you can mix infinite set of colors, and that is way more powerful than traditional. So if the traditional artist wants to argue with me, please do so if you have the the skills down on digital. Do not create an argument based on limited knowledge of what digital can do. So that's my question to you. So don't come for looking for an argument to put digital down. It's digital is very powerful, and I come from a traditional background, and I like all mediums. Honestly, I've got art hanging on people's walls, so that's how far I go back. And I don't confine myself to oils like some people do. I do oils, acrylics, watercolors, and they're all pretty good. Well, if they're hanging on walls, they must be. Anyway, so, and then it's only 5 years ago that little bit of history about myself that I decided I'm going to move to digital and pick up the Paintology app where I left off for a number of years back, and and I did drawings with the Paintology app. At that time, it was a rudimentary app, but nevertheless pretty good. And we're talking about 2012, and I did some fine drawings with that. And at that time, I was doing, of course, traditional. And then there was a big gap, life events come in the way. Big gaps and then I picked it up again. I have the in about 5 years ago, and that's where I've revamped the Pentology drawing app, and based on my artistic skills, and brought this app to where it is. And I don't believe in digital tools. These are for people who can't draw, but they obviously can't draw because they're beginners, and also because they don't learn the techniques. They don't have the techniques, and they will not learn the techniques if they continue to become subservient to the tools. And like you see, when I did this part one drawing, you can see right away that I hardly accessed any tools apart from the brush. So now the next thing is we've got it to there. Now what are we going to do? Well, I think I'm going to put some textures down first, and then perhaps blend it. I feel like I need to put some details down first. The hat there, for example, with a smaller brush. Can you see it? I'm going to flick back and forth. I don't have to slide it. I can flick back and forth. I can see the bridge at the back. It's not as detailed. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to create some of the details, and that's the great beauty of um, of the brush. We could stick to the line brush. I'm not going to move to any brush and really take it down. Remember I said half, rule of thumb, half of what we had. So I'm going to now show you this bridge. Just show you the color, the palette, okay? This improves your drawing. And I'm going to just show you this bridge. Here, pick the color. Right, look where we are. We're at 300 and 420%. I'm not worried about the tiniest detail. While I'm doing this, I can see these gaps I've left behind because I used a big brush. And you'll see how the bridge takes shape so quickly, a little minimum of effort. Well, this is sort of a small brush. You can see right away it's a very small brush. And this really improves your knowledge of, look at the subtle at the back that he used to create these posts. We're doing the same thing, creating that post. And then he's got dark blue here. Not so much dark blue. Remember, his color tones are very tamed with this painting. It's not as like harsh like other artists would probably have it. It's very tame and subdued. It was intended to be like that because he wanted to create a sort of a dream-like effect where people are like lost in thought, right? Let's see what we've got. Enough of that bridge. There, that bridge is coming out, isn't it? Right, we can carry on. I was getting carried away with the face now, you know. Let's capture all these elements that you can see here. And they're all different tones. So just capture them. Okay, these blue tones. And then this. Remember we used a big brush. Yeah, excuse for a second. Hello. Sorry about that. So let's take a look at this area here. Okay, you can see here. Go away. Okay, here. So you can see a dark patch here. So you're going to add that. And then a light patch. So we're really getting the actual tones that's intended in that region and defining the shapes. And at the same time, we're clearing away what we did with the bigger brush, right? So I just want to see how this turns out. If it turns out okay, we'll apply it all over, right? We're getting the effects we're looking for. And it's got some far distance. Still, it's got that perimeter of that bridge, very distinct. I mean, he doesn't hide that fact, because that bridge is obviously plays an important part in this, in his drawing, and his painting, I should say. pick the colors. See, that's a blue color, so we're gonna pick the colors. Look at these lovely colors. And while we're doing that, we're removing some of these white areas that we've left behind. I think that's a boat actually, is it? See, we didn't capture the tones in that area. Okay. See, just a tiny bit of effort. We're revisiting this area again. So as we can't tell which is ours, which is theirs, so really something coming out there, isn't it? But not quite. It's not quite there, right? Look at all the bridge strands here, okay? So let's try and capture that at least. And then he's got a light strand here, dark. So you can do this in order to make sure you got something close to this. You can flick back and forth and continue the color picker, and then check your drawing, and then continue to use, check your drawing. Right, so these have all been designed in this manner. Shadows there. Okay. Okay, we're now at the top of this guy's head. Now let's see what we have. If you can't get the exact color, try your color palette. See here? So now we've got, it's a lovely patch of blue here, right? So we're now really paying attention to this wonderful ripples of blue, so we can make sure we get that. Right, so just do that. We're now creating some textures that he has. Okay, there. Right, so it doesn't look like a little odd, does it? Remember, you're also seeing part of your drawing in the halfway house, so you can go all the way there and then decide, you know, I don't need the halfway house. I need to see more of the real thing. And create this. All the tools were designed with this in mind, yeah? So I can see here that it's created the ripples, and there's the end. Right, there's the end of his, the shape of that always sitting, I believe. And pick all these colors. Random colors. Some blue. Okay, mix it up. And then pick another color. Mix it up. So you get that effect you're looking for. Now I'm going to show you how to. So let's take a look at it now. That is so much better now, isn't it? Now you can see on the top, this is part of the, this is like a chimney that's actually showing. This is, see here? So we can pick this and then go along here. See, this is a very small brush, so that's not going to have an effect. So what we're going to do here, we're going to blend it. I'm going to do some blending exercise. Still stick to the line brush. I felt like I needed to move to a different type of brush to get the pointillism effect. But then I realized, the line brush will be just as effective. So here, I'm going to actually do some blending here without relying on the reference. So here, I'm going to look at the reference image and then see if you can blend it. And this is where the density comes in. So go straight down. I'm going to go to 7%. 7%. Then pick a color that's darker adjacent to it. Just blend. See that? You probably know why this is happening, because what's happening is very easy to understand. It means that this setting creates like a lower tone value of the whole, right? So you have more strokes to play with that to build up this tone, right? Whereas here you don't have any tonal variations. If you put down in one mark, it will be exactly that tone. But if you're here and all the way down here, you have to have tens of strokes to reach that tonal value. That is what allows you tones. You must have seen this same method of pencil drawing, how people achieve shades, right? So again, use a curly type of stroke. Use a curly type of stroke. Take it all the way down, okay? If you feel you need more control, right? And then take just the brush. I'm going to tell you how to do it, but I'm going to just show you how this works, so you can use it to your advantage whenever the need for background. I've done lots of background like this, and it works really well. This blending works perfectly fine. See, I've created that blending effect. Okay. You could increase the brush, the density more to get the effect quicker. And mix up the colors. I bet George Seurat, if he lives in this digital time, he'd be loving it. But again, you live in a world where there are innovations, and his artwork is probably more appreciated. See that, where we did that? Let's see, diffuse that. So when you do that, it actually looks like the actually looks like it's been pushed all the way back. You know, the whole scene is pushed all the way back. See that? It looks like the scene's pushed all the way back. So now we've done that sky. Let's look at these trees here. So what we do is I'm going to use the pointillism, the increase that to really about 80% now that we have that, and then take it down, and then I'm going to create these wonderful textures that he did in his painting, and then do the same thing. So basically that's a bit too big a brush. Basically I'm just creating it's like a brush stroke. You see what I'm doing is I'm going to see if that works, and if it works then I'm going to do it for the rest of the painting. See what I'm doing? I'm just picking the colors. It's like a stippling effect. Because look at the trees as diffused to the background. He's done it in such a manner. That's probably why the painting is appreciated a lot over the years. Because he somehow diffused nature along with the areas. Just a stippling effect of that. And so if that tree comes out nicely, then we can always change it up again. That's actually not bad. I'm kind of happy with that. Okay. So I'm gonna do the same thing for this tree. So stippling, just like picking all these tones. Every time I land, I'm gonna pick up a different tone. Unfortunately, it will be the tone. That's what the reference image is showing, right? It's an excellent way of appreciating drawing. Seems to work, so I'm going to try that. Why not? The beauty of this painting is that he diffuses the colors these colors. Look at that, it's quite bright. Along with the boundaries, so he doesn't really set hard boundaries. The boundaries are not very different. It's unlike the yesterday's drawing where I did the landscape. There's really hard edges, but here he's somehow trying to meld the whole subjects to the same colors as the trees and the background. So that's where the beauty of it probably comes from, and it's really appreciated. Let's see if we've got it now. There's no sharp hard edges. It's like it's floating. They're all like lost in nature. They're like, let's see. Yes, we're somehow getting some of that pointillism effect. Maybe we should take it down a bit more. Anyway, I'm going to save this and open it up again, as I've been told. So now I'm going to keep doing it. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the line brush, maybe take it down to 70 and have more control. Less, less harshness. That's what he's intended. So I've taken the density down a bit. Okay, we're just going to go across very quickly and see what that does, right? If it works, then of course I'm going to keep at it, right? That's the beauty of painting, is that you're going to come with your own techniques. You've got to develop your own techniques with the tools you have. Right now, you see I'm using my own techniques for what I've learned in digital, and if I were doing traditional, I would be adopting the similar techniques using those specific tools. So it's not like you have to apply the same. It's not like actually a bit like dancing. Oh, by the way, I am actually a dancer. I like salsa dancing. And we were talking about the different styles of dancing with some of the people in that party last Friday. And again, the question arises that if you carry the same mindset, which we were telling you earlier, to another medium, you're going to fail, isn't it? It's like dancing. If you carry the same mindset with the dance you're familiar with, you're going to fail. And I learned that when I was very good at salsa, and then tried to do tango to expand my knowledge base and interest, and tried to do my salsa moves totally wrong. I found that I was dismantling my previous thinking of dancing, dismantling that, and then I could really learn. The same thing with this art, right? You're going to dismantle your previous knowledge. So it applies to everything, not just dancing, right? Or painting. You got to dismantle your old thinking. Don't bring the same baggage with you, and then you're going to learn a lot more. And that's what happened. And the funny thing was, it took me 2 years before I became comfortable with tango. I kept going and managed to get the essence of tango, and then I found my salsa dancing improved significantly. It was such an eye-opener. Look at these lovely. So we're going to see what that looks like. It's not bad, is it? Yeah. It's not bad. And you know what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try and I've done the little bits which matter, and now I'm going to try and do some blending actually. I'm going to, like for example, this back here. So I'm going to try and create some blending. Take the brush size, take it down to 60. That's actually quite harsh. Right, just do some blending here, yeah? So it doesn't look like off-putting. Right, so I'm going to do some blending here, just to bring these colors. It's a little different to how I would have gone about it. Just get these harshness out the way. 24%. Right there. And grab that green as well. The dark green. See what that comes out. A little better, isn't it? It's improved it a little bit. And then here on the body of this guy, let's see what he looks like. Yeah, it's looking like he's... And then the dark edge of that. I've got to make it look somewhat real, isn't it? If not, we haven't really achieved. Then get rid of that. This color. The okay. If this color, you know, make it blend. Then this color. So what we got here? Again, we got this dark color. Okay, this looks like that should be very hard coded. I'm using programming knowledge because it's clearly a hat. It's designed to be a hat. I think in those days hats signified a lot of things. And that's the reason why he chose to keep these hats. Look at the edges there. Let's look at that. Let's make that. Okay, that's probably a bit too harsh. I'm going to take that down. In fact, it's a lot harsh. So you can see how the choice of his colors are very picked according to the whole composition. very selective in his choice of colors. So it's subtle, but yet we know it's there, right? Okay, here, what's this? This almost looks like a naked person there. No, actually, it's not a person, it's so we'll take that down. This is where you need to experiment, and then take that down too, so we can handle this. So basically making this look a little subtle in these tones I picked, and then keeping right there. Okay, so there, we're getting closer and closer to the truth. Well, not to the truth, but you know what I'm saying. So you can see here, there's some harsh lines, and the whole painting is really about subtlety of color, and that's what he does. So take that down to do his hat, but we won't take it down that much because it's actually quite a harsh tone. Let's see what we've got here. Just smooth that out so it looks better, doesn't it? And now we can do some more. I want to save this and open it up again. So we got this 33%. Let's keep trying adding that and fix these subtle areas. So that's what it is. The nature of his painting is still about subtlety, isn't it? Colors. So we don't want to use very harsh colors. We just want to blend them in. There, I can see that. And then we'll come back to it and pick. Remember that scribbling method I was telling you? That's what we're doing. And it's not showing up as much. But let me finish the features of this dog, right? At least we got the main characters down to what we want. that? So if you don't see the effects, okay, and then these dark areas, so he made sure he had, let's put that down. We can go down here, take these, get close to it, not an exact match, at least close to it, right? There. There, we got that dog right, isn't it? And then you can see areas, it is very subtle. You can see the areas, so we can stick to that, take it 2%, and take these colors and blend it. Right there. Pick the black. Right. And these colors and blend it. It's all about blending in this. Try and get it as much as we can, isn't it? We're not getting the colors just quick enough, just increase the density. Then I want to merge the blue and green here. That looks good, isn't it? And then you can see here that there's some subtleties going on here. Right. And this bit here, what's going on here? Oh, it's a grassy patch. So we can do that quite easily. Pick that up. So the guy is sitting on a grassy patch. This is my favorite, isn't it? And then there is no so I'm gonna just none of that those colors. Okay. There, we got that down, right? With the grassy patch. And now what else can we see? You can see here, and done that nicely, isn't it? So take it up so you can at least define the edge. This is really good practice. So I got it. And see if you're close. See how it blends the body to that. That is all the clever trickery of his painting. Does it so well. And then look at that. Now we have this bit coming, then this bit here. Then now we have, take that down, take some of that, then just blend it. Let's see if we've done that. Yeah, similar, but it's too strong in our case. So we're going to try and fade it in a bit. And then now similarly on his face. Remember we're going to do his face? Because make sure you understand where you are on the doing here. I'm going to zoom in and see how it's done that. So we're going to take it down to 1.7 and then I'm going to take it up. This is where experience comes in. I'll just this face has to be done right, isn't it? Oh, we're like 10 minutes away from finishing. So this is not as bad as I'd originally thought. It's actually a lot easier than I thought. Not a lot, but still, that's because when you get skills down, you know, look at that. When you get skills down, it's a lot easier. Just laying down these. Let's see what that is. Don't know what that is. So let's have a look. Oh, that's his jeans, isn't it? His t-shirt. So here it's a little too harsh, in my opinion. So again, I'm sure he thought about this as well. And then here it will be black as well. And then what do we have here? Oh, we got something going on here. Look, a little bit of that. The so we're going to go here halfway, zoom in, and then try and create these subtle turns. A darker tone here. just enough to get away with it. No, nothing too difficult. You get a really good understanding of how to use this density. Yeah, very important. Okay, now we've got that out the way. I can see areas here where it needs to be touched. Yeah. So how are we going to do that? Well, I think again, we've got a good brush here. Take it to 2% and just remove the little subtle areas. Right, so it creates subtle areas. Because we got the 40%. So we got, remember I told you about the density setting? So we keep that in mind. And then here, look, green. Let's see what we got. Are we going now? I think we have, isn't it? What do you think? That looks pretty good. I think people might confuse it with a George Seurat painting, perhaps. What do you reckon? Now let's save this and then open it up again and then spend 5 minutes. You know, if people looked at it, they'll say, is that George Seurat? No, it's Paintology. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing Seurat. Is it Seurat or what? So again, 40% seems to be sort of halfway house. Okay. So, we haven't done this person here. So we really need to take that down. You see, there are a lot of areas I've noticed. A lot of areas that you think you've done it, but you haven't really. Just refining it. We did pretty good for the initial. And now we can see that it's got these little tones. Like if we get it right, so you see, this is all developing your skills. Nothing more, just developing your appreciation of tones. You see here? That's our drawing. Here. And let's see. There, except the hat is a little too harsh around here, of course. And so again, take it down. Use a reasonable size. see if that looks good. That looks good, isn't it? And then I can see something not quite, a little bit of a mess here. What's going on here? Oh, it says hat. Of course. That's where I'm going wrong. I thought it was some kind of a bulbous thing. There, that's it. And then here you can see something's got a mess here. It's got a sort of a green line all the way along that body, just green line. Yeah, look at that green line. Then we can fill it up. And it just shows the perimeter. Pick these colors, bring it in. So that's good. And then the next bit, I think, is about here. Remember, look at how we got a little bit messed up here. So we're going to blend it in 4% and take it down 20%. Just blend it, you know, make it look as though it's smoothed out. There's nothing peculiar about that. Because we were experimenting then we get a better handle on the density setting, right? Okay. We don't know what that's looking like, but at least we can shade it in. Right. Just like a pencil. Go areas where you want it dark, like here. Just like a pencil. What is this? That's another person. Wow. If we want to do that person, we need a little bit more control, a little smaller brush. I wonder if he sat here the full time I was painting this. It's definitely a very good painting. So this guy's kind of showing the colors, flesh tones here, and then look at the brush we picked. Might have enough to go down even. Let's see what we've done. So that is looking a little bit better, isn't it? We can go all the way. We can see here that that's not quite working. The tail end of this character is, and it's got a tail, so then let's take that down. This guy's tail, and then we can blend this. Then blend this black. Get that black. Add a little bit of dimension to it. Brown color. Tail. Isn't it? And then pick a big brush and then just blend it. See how it's blended? Oops. Because the big brush, you gotta understand, big brush means it will encroach on the other areas. So take it down. The smaller subtle blending going on here. Oops. Down here. Right, better, isn't it? Yes. How has he done it? Oh, it's got more of the white, so I'm going to take it up. And that's it. There. Okay. We got a good job done, isn't it? What do you reckon? I think that's looking good, except for her feet here. You can see here, we're just a few minutes over, so don't worry, we'll get this done. I mean, you're probably surprised that we've come this far, isn't it? All right. I think we can safely say this is sort of done. I'm happy with that, actually. Don't know about you, but I'm happy with that. So I'm going to sign off. I mean, people will look at it and say, yep, that's a George Seurat. And then they look at it closely and say, what's going on here? That was my goal, I think. I think that was your goal. Alright, let's pick a palette color, a lighter color, and put Paintology on this. I wonder what George Seurat would have thought of this. Yeah. Anyway, so there you are. Paintology. In fact, I'm going to actually. Sorry about that. I'm going to actually print that to bigger. I think I should. Paintology. There you are. All right. I really hope you enjoyed this, and please subscribe. And if you have ideas for other drawings, other great grandmasters, great masters, painting, do let me know, and because this is a very good practice for you to understand how to make it. This was not image manipulation, whatever you like to call it. This was an actual drawing, and it was done through reference, and people have done many drawings, camera obscura, to develop these skills. If you think you shouldn't be using it, you're probably the person who's going to ask the 100 meters, start 9 o'clock and I'll come back at 5 p.m. to pick you up. Just keep going up and down the track, That's really what you're essentially saying when you want to learn skills. And I think you'll agree with me that's not the right way. So this has allowed me to make really good drawings photorealistically. Anyway, so hope you enjoyed this, and please do subscribe and do provide me with feedback. And I'll see you next time tomorrow, hopefully. Thank you. Bye.